What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of We Need to Talk. Back in the building, man. This is episode 310. And basically, just a dating Q&A. Just want to pull up on y'all for this one and just leave it open. As you know, we do organic conversations here a lot of the times. Cuz, what's up? What's up? Just name what's going on. As you know, still, what's up? How you doing? As y'all know, I appreciate the organic. I appreciate the organic conversations, and the questions that may be in the background, maybe some things that are on your mind right now, maybe some things that you are focused on, maybe some elements of the past that have returned into your life. Now's the time to bring that forward. Now's the time to chop it up, whether you want to come on camera or whether you want to drop it in the comments. Tell you what's up. Dawn, what's up? What's going on? What's going on? Today feel like, I almost said happy Friday. It feel like Friday right now. Inside my mind. So what's up with y'all? Yeah, y'all know the Sade is the vibe as usual. How we feeling though? How's everybody feeling? What's up, Sean? How you doing? How we doing in here? Is Thursday good? Are we good? We in a good spot, good mental space, healthy. Yeah, Dawn says Friday Eve. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Indeed. Sean with the ice cube. Today was a good day. Tay said sick. Damn. What's sick with what? That ain't no good. Sean says, how are you doing? I'm doing with Mr. Shade. Y'all gotta chill with that. That's probably the most that's probably the most clever nickname I've ever gotten. Marcus Shade Jr. That's crazy. That's top level. I don't see nobody beating that this year. Dawn says hurt my shoulder and lifting. Okay. Hopefully you come through and that doesn't, put a damper on things long term. You know what I'm saying? Try to rest that. How y'all gonna say it fits? That ain't me. Stop it. It's sunny in here. But to answer your question, Sean, thank you. I'm doing really well. Staying focused on the goals, staying tapped in, staying positive, staying in gratitude, staying responsive to my body and my spirit. When it's time to sit down, it's time to sit down. When it's time to work, when the energy is there to create and go, I go with the energy, and I go with the intuition. So. That letting go of rigidity or the letting go of being, a slave to a schedule, a slave to, a set of personal self-imposed deadlines and things of that sort. I'm here for the best timing. I'm no longer here for my timing. I'm here for the best timing. So if the best timing for me to create another masterpiece or something that is important to me to present to you, I want it in its best time. When it comes to me, meeting my future wife and things like that, I want it on its best time. I want perfect timing, not perfect people. Perfect chemistry and perfect timing. That's really what I'm after. So I'm willing to wait for that, but not just wait. I'm willing to thrive in conjunction. I'm willing to thrive in between. I'm in a space where the best is happening daily, not on the calendar. So I don't need a calendar to locate my best days because I'm working on creating those on a daily basis. So that's really where I'm vibrating right now, and keeping myself in that zone, and hopefully you guys are too. So Now let me tell you, when it comes to Dawn, you mentioned hurting yourself lifting. That used to be really bad for me because I used to I don't lift heavy no more because I was really there was an era where I was really big in the max, what's my max, and I was going super heavy, but there was times where you can mess something up and then you be like, and then that what that does to an achiever is it really puts you in a painful spot because it limits you from being able to progress and achieve more, especially somebody like yourself who's in that industry, right? That's your second home when you're talking about the gym. So it's like just having your second home just closed up for renovations, and that's not a fun thing mentally, nor is it physically, because a shoulder is needed for things, and it's definitely one of the weaker of the areas. You don't hear about too many people hurting the larger muscles as much, unless you go crazy. But the shoulder is necessary, and it's right at an intersection point where you need to use your arms. You dig? Latasia, excuse me. What's going on? When here, but wishing you a speedy recovery. You hear me? Sean says, y'all, I'm out here on these roller skates. Where are you on roller skates at? Just around a block? Roll bouncing ass. Okay. Well, yeah, out here in ice skating season, you want to roller joints. I respect it. But pay attention to where you're going, though. You're not watching this and skating, right? Like, that ain't, hopefully that ain't what's up. Because, you might injure more than the shoulder playing like that. So anyway, let me ask you all here, what are some things that are on your mind as far as personal questions you may have, concerns you may have, anything going on, anything rotating, during this time frame in your life, any updates, any promotions, any things that to be celebrated, because that's the most important part of the journey, is incentivizing progress. You guys heard me talk before, Mo, what's up? You heard me talk before about Canada in the building. You heard me talk before just about having a trajectory that doesn't include a personal reward system, and how damaging that can be to your overall energy, right? Because you're running yourself right out of energy without activating any of the pleasure centers or the reward centers, as far as to say, this is why we put it all on the line. This is why we go this hard. Let me celebrate myself for an accomplishment along the way, for the milestones along the way. Because otherwise we are moving in a robotic fashion, just like a computer or anything electronic would not get a reward for performing functions. We don't want to put ourselves in that same category. So Dawn says my business is being promoted on Twitch on the 12th. Pretty excited. They asked. Solid. Congrats on that. That's a big platform too. Okay, wait a minute. Now here goes something else. She said, babying my shoulder, I realized my arms. Look, is that too good, or is that TF? Something else you trying to say? But hey, and that can happen. And look how you did that. Look how the pain resulted in self-admiration for your progress. pain is information. I keep telling y'all that, right? Pain is information. So we want to know that even in an unintentional look and glance, we can find some powerful things and some areas of progress that we may not have admired as much yet. We may not have looked at, may not have put any focus on. So I'll say this. I think it feels, like I said before, it feels like Friday. I think it feels like Friday for a reason. I think we earned this. I think we earned it to be Friday right now. Just from the general feel. I don't know about you guys. I feel like I put some work in. You know, I know you guys have put some work in, you know, for some objectives, putting yourself in position to do better, become better, learn more, etc. So keep doing that, but for sure, be sure to celebrate oneself along the way, you know, and take inventory of what has happened, and what has occurred, what you have manifested so far, especially if you're in fitness, because, you know, fitness has plateaus. There's progress points, you know, some are more drastic than others, but a lot of times we are so self-conscious at times, we may not visibly see the progress that everybody else does. And a lot of times it can't be judged just by weighing oneself. Like, that's a great thing if there's certain targets, but, you know, if you're going for toning, you're going for certain shape and things like that, you know, for y'all, dress size and etc. Like, you know, when you really look at that, there's other factors. And, you know, a lot of times when it comes to my achiever mindset people, you know, it can be real difficult to self-compliment. A lot of our gains may be used to teach and inspire others, but we may not necessarily congratulate ourselves on what we have accomplished. Even the small things, because physique and health, you may think they're small victories, but they're not. If we're talking about longevity, if we're talking about health, if we're talking about functioning, if we're talking about cognitive ability, brain functioning, heart functioning, all the, you know, kidneys, organs, eliminative, endocrine systems, neurological systems, you know, cardiac, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Like any system, subsystem that we're talking about, it's a chain reaction. So if you are doing your best on that fitness front, whether it's diet, exercise, or both, even if, see, put it to you like this, even if it's not marked, right? So a lot of times we try to mark our progress. Okay, when I get to this weight, that's the celebration point. When I get to this weight, when I do this, when I do that. A lot of times it's just celebrate the discipline sometimes. How long have you been able to go 3-4 days a week to the gym? How long have you been able to curb your appetite or you know, delay gratification and eat certain foods consistently for a certain time? How many times were you able to actually fast? How many days were you able to do that? You know, incorporating organic juices and fruits and all that kind of stuff. How many, like, that may not have a mark, but it should. It should. 30 days doing this, 60 days doing this, all these challenges running around, right? Y'all might be busting it. And there may be awards for that, comments and stuff like that. But, you know, y'all might bust it, y'all might silhouette, but y'all can do the diet challenge too. You know what I'm saying? Put something on that. And that'll be good too, just as well. You know, you deserve attention for that too. You know what I mean? Damn. And I want to know, where's the support group for the Busted injured party, the injured reserve for the Busted challenge? Because the kneecaps, I'm gonna just say this right here, for anybody who's experiencing arthritis or, you know, acids in the knees, previous injuries, right, when it comes down to it. So you know, I think a lot of times it's good for some of y'all. It's good that the video is supposed to end when you're on your knees, because you never see any of those girls stand up after that, because there's no reason to. But I want to see the bloopers after y'all cut the video off. Y'all got the first version, the first half, second half. Y'all dress different, it's popping right, and then it goes now. For y'all 10 women, 10 not 10 men, 10 women out there, y'all aluminum foil kneecap, y'all no cartilage behind the patella ass. When you do, how many of them stood up? That's all I want to know. Kaepernick kneeled. How many of y'all stood up after the busted challenge? I need footage. I need answers. I need stats. Anyway. Okay. Dawn said ginger root. So my attachment style is anxious, preoccupied. How to date with this? Okay. I would say, you know, I'm not really big on too many labels. So I would want to know, how does it present with you personally? So what are the tendencies, the specific tendencies that express themselves with you personally? And then I can respond to that, because, you know, the attachment style, it you know, it's different for different people when it comes to how it's expressed personally in relationships and dating. So if you're still in here, damn, Erica said, what's up, Erica? She said, I got torn ligaments from soccer. Damn, so don't, you know, you might bust more than, don't do that. Don't do that. Shout out to you. But yeah, Mo, if you still in there, like, what do you think are what are you doing wrong? What do you think you're doing wrong? Because if certain things don't present themselves, then they don't need to be factored in. You want to come on camera? Let me know if you want to come on camera. We could chop it up real quick. But, you know, a lot of times the attachment styles, it really depends on how they present themselves and what your tendencies are. Because I can always trace those back and then always, you know, move forward as far as what needs to be worked on in order to balance the scales. So that's fair and balance. We just want to balance it out. That's at the core. So we look for that. Somebody said,
I'm coming.
Oh man,
I can't hear you anymore. What happened?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
I don't think that's me.
I'm just trying to make myself look appropriate. One second.
Okay. So anyway, quick commercial break. So, you know, shout out to my Evolve members. If you have not already, you know, click the link in the bio. Become an Evolve member. Get your one-on-one coaching, virtual uploads, weekly workshops virtually, as well as unlimited content, one-on-one, and free dating tools from the online store. Shout out to my Evolve members. So it's on you. How you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. I'm good, you know. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
It's been a long
has.
time.
You wanted the vets. You wanted the vets on here. You dig?
Yeah.
So it's good to see you. What's up? What's up? We
So
anxious and we running. What's going on?
so I did a little test yesterday, you know, attachment styles. And yeah, I got the result of anxious. And I was like, it's accurate, but how do I work with this?
Well, give me an idea of, like, okay, let's go into your last. Well, look, put it like this. When your last recollection of you in a relationship, right? Give me an idea of how that looked and why it ended.
Um, okay. So I don't know how to answer that question because I haven't been in a relationship in a long time
Mm,
because situationships seem to be more common.
okay.
Um, but
So
what,
you've been in multiple like situationships as
yeah,
of between the last relationship and now, right? Is that what you're
yes,
saying?
yes.
Okay.
So, okay, this is what I've come to understand or gather. So I have this feeling of like this person's going to leave. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always on defense mode, like always on the defense of like he's going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it doesn't matter if I do too much or do too little, like there's room for them to leave. Either they don't like me or they do like me, I don't know. So I'm always in this like, like I'm always checking the blind spots in the situation. And so I realized lately, when I talk about my love language, I realize that words of affirmation is something that I need because I'm always in this whole like checking my blind spot situation. Because if you're not assuring me that you're here and you're present, um, it turns into anxiety, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, uh, if you had you know how like when you work at a certain place, you have a vest on or a pin saying like, okay, I'm I'm management, I'm part of the the sales team, or whatever. Yours would say you're on the rejection prevention team. so your efforts mentally would be to work to prevent somebody from rejection, or at least bracing for the pain of it, right?
Yes.
So now, when you're in that space, do you when you say you always kind of looking around, you're looking to assess the situation, but do you find yourself looking for other guys too, or like adding to the what's lessening the impact? So like talking to multiple people so that if
Yeah.
this don't, okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. That would make sense.
So
Options
like
are
just
always the way of life. Yeah.
right. So like just disaster prevent. Let me get as much food in here as I can in case that tornado come in, like type of vibe. Okay, so
Yeah.
storage. Okay. Um, and when it happens, how do you respond to it?
It depends. Depends on if I've invested into like feelings into this person, then it might be like devastating. But then there's other times if I haven't invested, it's like, okay, well, you just got to the back of the line, the next one up.
Hmm. Now, when it comes to okay, you're in a relationship. How long was your longest relationship?
2.5, 3 years.
Okay, and you when it ended, was it that person's fault, or like how would you describe
I left.
you left?
Yeah.
How come?
It just didn't cross up all the lists, the things that I wanted. Like the relationship itself was perfect, or not perfect, but it was well. But he wasn't a go-getter. He wasn't like there's his personal drives and things that he wanted for his life wasn't aligned with what I wanted or what I was looking forward to.
Okay, and would you say that that was a good decision?
Some
Oh,
days,
oh.
some some days I'm like yes, and some days I'm no. Because I'm like I haven't met anybody that fits that criteria box since that, right? Now it's just like uh a bunch of, like, ooh, yeah, you're not, no, net. Like it's literally like Tinder all the time. It's just like you try it and then you do a swipe, left or swipe right. It's literally that with people,
Now,
physical people.
there's a couple different ways I want to go with it, but how did it feel to do the rejecting? Because that's what you did essentially. In these terms, you were the one doing the rejecting in that sense. Now, how did that feel personally?
Yeah. Um, I don't know. It was a little while ago, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. But Marcus, if you remember back to a conversation that we had one on one, that was before that.
Okay.
So, with that being said, I'm a different person now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think my expectations for a man then and my expectations for a man now is two different things.
Okay. Now, back then, you doing the leaving. I know now how you feel just based on the climate, but that's not really a real answer because to be unsure, because you were sure at the time, like you broke off at the time, right? Because you felt like it was the right thing to do. But now because you haven't been able to match it, you may feel like it was worth settling for now because it wasn't enough back then.
Right. Well, there's moments I feel like that, right? There's
Okay,
moments where I was like, that I'm like, oh, maybe I should have stayed because what's out here is questionable,
right.
right? But when I do go into that mindset, and I still talk to the person now. So
Mhm.
the fact that they're still almost that same person, so I'm like, it's okay. I made the right decision.
Wait, say the last part again.
I said I still speak to the person, my ex.
Yeah.
So when I look at where they are now, I'm like, okay, it's okay. I made the right decision because nothing's really changed.
Okay. So they're still the same person. So it would still okay. So it was the right thing to do,
Right.
right? Now I think it's really I say that to say this: if you doing what you needed to do for yourself um, meant separating from somebody, right?
Hmm.
Why can't you when you reject somebody? Why can't it also be protective to be rejected by somebody else, right? In this, and I say that because there's what you're looking for. There's the concept of what you're looking for and what the right relationship would look like.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's people who, like jokers come through, right?
Hmm.
Uh, now, rejection from the wrong type is great. And even rejection from what you think is right is great too, because it's an indication that it may be the wrong time or even
Hmm.
behind the scenes the wrong person. So if you look at the rejection as protective, you won't fight against it or brace for it, because anything you brace for, it's occurring anyway. It's happening anyway because you're not. Let's say for example, if you're prepping for rejection for somebody, you can't give your best step in the process and hold back in case they reject you at the same time. It's one or the other. So you're only in one position at one time. So either it's not to say like day one you gotta throw everything at somebody, but what I'm saying is the best step is going along with a process until you encounter something that's a hell no, or like a deal breaker or something like that.
Hmm.
And if it does not work, that it not working, however it happened, it's a blessing, because
Yes.
you see what I'm saying? So if rejection becomes a blessing, you won't prepare for it. You won't be anxious about the process. But it has to be a mindset that continuously grows, and it has to be your practice, or what you do has to will help that process as well. So how often are you, how okay, you have good set of friends, right?
Sure.
Would you say?
Yeah.
It could be no, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I
But
mean, I do, but like
okay.
friends is means plural, you know? You know
So
what it's like these days. You got what?
yeah, I
Maybe
hear you.
two. You know what
So
it's like.
do you I think, well, first of all, would you consider yourself vulnerable with those closest to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, um, we want to balance this area too, because you mentioned the love language part, right? And then you said that when it comes to the words of affirmation, that's your love language, but it has to be in a certain consistency, or there starts to be doubts in the process, right?
Yep. I'm like, what?
So what's your give me an example of how it should look, because again, it you know it's different for everybody. So like,
But
how much do you need out of that? All of
a
it?
lot. All of it. All of it. A lot.
Okay.
A
And
lot.
and and in what type? Like, do you need compliments? You need somebody to tell you how they feel about you. You need what's the both of those, all of those, but
Yeah. Quality time to match it. All of that type of stuff. You
gotcha.
know?
And when there's a lapse, the automatic thought process is that they don't like you for real, or they playing some type of game. Is that how it usually goes? Like,
But see this, yeah. So if any slight change, I'm immediately on like red flags.
mm.
Where you going? Who you with? What you doing?
Right, right. Got you. Now, what are some things that you're consistent with when it comes to how you interact with a mate? Because to expect it, you gotta present it as well. So like, what do you do in perfect consistency without stopping in a relationship?
I give communication. I think I even give too much. Like as much as I'm a busy with like work and business, I can still give a person a lot of my time. And I think sometimes that might even be an issue, right? I I I meet someone I like, and then I'm like, ooh, we're all in. And then I'm all in, and that person may have not even put their foot into the water yet.
Mm,
And
okay, now we getting
and then
somewhere.
and I,
Now
I
we
may I may smother them if that's a yeah, you know, kill them with love.
Okay. So I think that's good that you said that. I think part of moving forward is to slow the process down, um, and basically disregard the possibility of being rejected. Act like you could not act like you could care less, because then when you do that, you kind of give off that, and then what I'm saying, like, I wouldn't want the other person to feel like that. But to just be free, and also in essence be um, open to anything that happens, knowing that however whatever thing turns out, you're gonna end up on top regardless. Like, and I ain't mean that the other way. You see what I'm saying? But I will say when it comes down to it, that's where the fear gets broken. There has to be, in order for a fear like that to be broken, you have to start working on its opposite and embracing
Okay.
its opposite. So if your tendency is to jump in and over communicate, or because here's the thing, when you do that, there's an immediate assumption that they have to respond, they have to meet your energy,
Right.
right? But like
Exactly.
but like you said, you have reservations about how this is going to go. They probably do too. So they may present their insecurity, or not insecurity, but their trepidation or their reservation about how this is going to go. They may present it by a slow dating process. Let me get to know this person. I don't know. So they may creep into the room. Your way of getting security is to jump through the door. So now you both are operating at maybe a pretty vulnerable spot, and having reservations about, pretty scared about how this is going to go, but you're presenting it differently, and that can cause you to for it not to work out, because you're not necessarily on this, or maybe you are on the same, you're on the same frequency, but you're not on the same page for anything to really work out, because there's still
Right.
fear kind of in the background on both sides. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, because I think you're saying a lot of stuff that makes sense. Because I think my reaction is like, well, if I like you, you like me, let's just go, right?
let's just right, right.
Tick the box, let's just go. But I think that has not worked in my favor. And I think this is where the anxiousness comes in, because I'm like, I go 0 to 100 instead of 0 to 10, you know?
And here's why it's hard for you, being somebody who does that, is because you may think, okay, you may get maybe the confession or something that they like you or whatever so far. That doesn't mean that they're going to meet your energy. So then when you come in with that type of energy and things don't work out, you're left with, well, was it because I came on too strong, or was it because they really didn't like me? Because that fear wants you to go into that other box, right? The fear of rejection
Mm-hmm.
says, they ain't like me, something wrong with me. So the fear wants you to say it happened because they don't like you, they rejected you, when it may have been the case that they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting the approach. The approach scared them off. And that's part of the cycle, because you may not be ready for what you want. So you have to do something unconsciously to maybe scare somebody off, because you don't want them to be able to reject you. Nobody can reject you if you scare them off. That's just a fact. Because it's hard. You did it. That's you preemptively rejecting yourself by overcommitting, or putting too much pressure on an individual early in the game. That's how those self-fulfilling prophecies work. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure we're not an agent in our own demise, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I, I don't get how you get me so well, but it's okay. Like you get into my head, which is great. But
Don't trust the process. You know what I mean? I got you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I slowing down made it's an easy thing to do, but I guess when you're there in that moment, actually doing it, it's different.
It is. It is.
Because as I said, if I'm into you, I'm just like, hey, good morning, good afternoon, how are you doing? What's going on? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I can be that person. But again, then the crazy part is if I'm not into you, I'm the complete opposite. You
Right,
can
right, right.
text. It may take me a couple hours. It may take me a day to get back to you. So I'm like extreme on both sides.
So you become like the guy, like the guy on the other end of you, like taking all day, whatever. Because you gotta understand something too. There's a if you put too much energy in the beginning, or too much over communicate in the beginning, that may condition the guy to start acting like that. He may be different if it was more even, more slow paced, more balanced, back and forth, going with the energy. He may have been more interested, and even if you took more of a backseat, then the chase can happen. But if you're here,
That chase thing, yeah, I'm not good at that. I'm just like, hey, I'm here. Hi.
because you be the one running out of the you're like the you're like the salmon that jumps in the boat. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm man, hey, you ain't gotta catch me. Man, what's up? You know what I mean?
That's it.
So in that sense, it may condition, the guy to be like taking time or whatever, because that's maybe him balancing the energy. Because if you're this far over, if you're this level communicator, where's his space to communicate? He's always on defense, because if you're initiating every combo, and guys don't want to be on defense, just like, oh, talk just catching it and not being able to influence or to initiate or to send those compliments unexpected, right? Because there's no room to do that, because there's always conversation, and maybe him not knowing that there's a deeper reason for it to be like that. You know what I'm saying? So then it's kind of like, oh, where can I be a man at up in here? Like, you know what I mean? So then, but if you slow it down, I think, and don't slow it down mentally, right? Don't slow it down just to get it due. Slow it down because somebody should be able to show their interest to you in a way that you can assess it. Because you make it, in the way that you're operating now, you make it hard to assess if the guy is right for you, because you're all in, your energy's in, but you're not receiving enough because there's no time. So I think slowing it down in that process and taking notes on yourself. Damn, that was hard. Damn, that was easy. I got the hang of this part of it. Now, because you may have times, you said it's hard, and I know it is. You may have times where you got to hold your hand like this. This hand wants to grab the phone and shoot a text out, but you just texted them like 2 hours ago. You might have to, one hand, grab the other hand. And you might reach, and you got, you know what I'm saying? You got to go back and forth, keep this hand from going, because, again, we all have patterns that we have to just start the process of reversing until we create the new normal. Everybody has something that they move towards or move away from too swiftly for whatever reason. But I think
because clearly it's not working. So that's where I'm at now. I'm looking at the situation and realizing, okay, so what you're doing is not working, but having this conversation now is kind of painting the whole picture on like, oh, this is what you're doing and this is what's happening. So you know how you know, but then you really don't know? You have an idea? Or you see the picture, but it's blurry. So that's probably where I was, where I see the picture, but it's blurry. But now you've just kind of made it clear to me.
Yeah. And you're somebody who's very, very capable. So I don't see this as something that will plague you a long time from now. It's just a matter of taking dating out of the off the pedestal, and then treating it as if it's a game, or like I said before, it's a challenge, right? You know what I'm saying? This is skill building. This ain't gotta be, this next date ain't gotta be the one or the right nothing. This is they might not know it. They think they're there for, and it may become real. I'm not saying that, while you're out here on the practice field, that you can't get a contract. I ain't saying that. But if it happens, great. But the intent behind it is to just practice making yourself just better, because that, in essence, you're working out your fears. It's bigger than him or the potential him. This is
Okay.
this is you. This is you restructuring and then and then purging the levels of fear that are going to get in the way later, because you wouldn't want to meet that person and not have this taken care of. I promise you that. I promise you that, because this is what happens too. When you get into a relationship, I believe this. Like, when you get into a relationship, it's harder to grow yourself. And not to say, like, if you're in a relationship, you're not gonna grow. That's not, I'm not saying that. But the basic elements, like the core elements of you, like of us, anybody, I would say work on that stuff while you still it's lucky. You're lucky to be in the dating process now, because you have an opportunity to practice these strategies on people who don't have no stake in the game. There's no stake. Whereas if you have a husband and your fear is up here, and you gotta, so now you're in a relationship, you have to worry about the household and him and this thing and that thing and love and communication and this and organizing. You're not gonna be able to do as much because you're accountable to somebody. Right now,
Right.
being single, and then too, you don't want those old wounds to start creeping out onto him, if this is the one, because this is the person you asked for the whole time. So for them to come into play, I would never want you to be in that position where the culmination, the one person that you want, that you deserve, doesn't work out because something in here was still toxic. I don't want to see that for you right there. So
Yeah.
make it a game. It's a game. Look, it's a game.
It
It,
is, but
yeah,
geez, man.
it's fun. Look, give give him my dating. Hey, my dating game was like just this game. Just play a game. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's because it's
I
dating.
don't like games.
You don't like games? Not
No.
like that. But
I
yeah,
know. I know what
yeah,
you're saying.
yeah.
But
You look,
okay.
because you have accomplishments. You have things that you have overcome in life. This, you should posture this as that, because it's a barrier. If there was anything holding you back from anything that you've already achieved, you would, if it was like a degree you had to get, if your dream position was this, or you wanted to own this, or this is your thing, and there was a training course or a certification or something like that, and that was the only thing between you, I don't see you sitting on that being like, you know what, nah, I'm gonna go another way. Like, because 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 you're capable of it. That's all I'm saying. It's and it's all about the paradigm you use, because without the pressure, it can be enjoyable. You get to meet new people. If they weird, it's funny, right? And if it goes away, you learn. You're learning how you're able to do it live. It's the dress rehearsal. Like how is this gonna run when you're actually on the field and running these plays? Because again, that's how you perfect it, and that's how you build the confidence to get out of the rejection management mindset. Those two can't coexist. So once you build from the repetition, you build the confidence. From the confidence, you care less. And when you move like that, to where any and everything is positive, and it's getting me to my goal. When you move like that, that's the energy that brings you to that right person. Because everybody else, you'll have the wherewithal to reject before even jumping in. You won't jump in no more. You'll sit back, assess, and reject as needed until you get to the right one. You know what I'm saying? That's really it. There's an ace in every deck. There's jokers in there too, but there's an ace in every deck. So You don't get mad at the cards. You got to flip. You might have to flip more than other people or whatever the case is. But you'll be fully. I know what you're about to say. You'll be fully equipped. You'll be fully equipped when it comes down to that connection, because again, I don't see you letting nothing stop you from what you deserve, even if it's inside. I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see
Mm-hmm. Marcus, you're good.
it.
You're good.
I appreciate that.
That's why you still get my $4.99.
Word. Shout out to you for that, man. Shout out to everybody who's part of the page.
There's days where I'm like, I need to cancel Marcus, but then there's days where I'm just like, okay, let me give him his tip.
Man, no, that's I know it's real out here, so I always appreciate that. Always appreciate that.
But thank you. I do need to book a one-on-one with you. Actually, I was giving you kudos yesterday, where we first connected in What's Your Opinion? We were talking about mental health yesterday, and I was like, if it wasn't for you during COVID 2020, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So,
wow.
Thank you, Marcus.
Wow, that's good.
And sometimes, what's your opinion? The person who founded it, sometimes they're like, well, what's the purpose? Is it working? Is it not? And I'm like, even if you don't think it is, there's connections that have happened through that platform that's created a whole lot of other relationships. So
yeah,
I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you as well. And that was like a real that was just a spur of the moment type of thing. Like my homegirl hit me and was like, yo, you should come on to this thing or whatever. This was it like a meeting, right? Like
It's a Zoom, yeah,
like a group. Yeah, it's a Zoom group. I was like, that. You know what I mean? And then, it's just one thing led to, there go Felicia right there too.
Yeah, Felicia was in there as well.
She was in there, yeah. So, that was and those are the thin threads that I always like, because again, like you said, you never know. Intuition, like I always say, intuition is to be followed, because I was tired that night. I was, a lot of stuff going on, but I was like, let me check it out. Let me see what's going on in there. I love the conversation. I love to chime in and just kind of build on topics. So it led me to you. It led me to Felicia and you guys.
And really, this is back in April.
Yeah.
April 2020. So we almost a year.
We almost at that clip. Oh. So.
But yeah.
I will be sending you stuff soon, in regards to that. But
yeah, your cards still haven't left yet, Cade yet. I guess the mail is, Felicia sent it, but it still hasn't reached.
Felicia sent it.
Okay. But this COVID postal, man, yo.
Yeah, that's it's kind of crazy up there. It's crazy up there.
COVID postal. But thank you for tonight. I appreciate it. And I know that I can always, it's funny how I like to put myself on blast on like social media, because I have whoever's in here, listening. But I guess when it comes to self-help, it really doesn't matter where it comes from. I mean, I know where it comes from, but how it's presented. So, oh, there you go. Sorry about that again. But yeah, thank you and have a great night.
All right. You too. Definitely great to see you. And yeah, so shout out to Mo, man. I always love to see, progress. Great to see her back on here. She one of the vets too, so much respect, man. She been on since probably the first several. If you think about it, we're now on episode 310. She was around damn near 3, 5. So, I got nothing but respect for her, and I definitely appreciate the feedback too. It's always good to hear. And it always reconfirms for me that it was a good decision to keep going. It was a good. Oh, 16. Okay. Felicia said she was episode 16. My God, this is 310 right now. So this is major. This is major. So salute to Canada. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Canada. They in the building, kind of tough too. Trina's in here too. So even beyond our borders, virtually, progress is to be spoken of. And if I had a part in that, I really appreciate hearing about it. With that being said, good night to you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Shoot me a DM. You guys need anything, any tips, advice, anything you guys are working on. Definitely shout out to my Patreon members and shout out to my Evolve members as well. Appreciate the loyalty, appreciate the love, and I appreciate the investment into your own growth as well. Because I'm gonna work hard. So if y'all willing to soak it in, I work hard to make it easy for you guys. So if you're willing to embrace some consistency, talk to me. I'll see y'all tomorrow.